Her laughter, once a sound that resonated deeply within me, had become a memory that I couldn't shake. In the past, it was a melody that made my heart race, a gentle, harmonious tune that filled my younger years with joy. But tonight, as she walked to the front door after what she claimed was a business trip, something had changed. It was different now, sharp, reckless, unsettling. The familiar sound of her voice, once filled with warmth, now carried a detached, almost careless tone as she greeted me with a simple, "Hello, sweetheart." There was something off about her, as if her mind were still far from the professional conference she had supposedly attended. She kicked off her heels and tossed her purse on the chair by the door, still laughing as if everything was perfectly normal. But then she saw it. Her laughter stopped as abruptly as if someone had pressed pause on a chaotic soundtrack. Her gaze fixed on the dining table where a framed photo of us rested, and I could see her smile falter. The color drained from her face, and for a moment, she stood there frozen, staring at the picture of us on our wedding day. In the photo, she wore a stunning lace gown, and I stood beside her in a crisp navy suit. We looked radiant, like two people who had everything they ever wanted, two people who had hit the jackpot in life. But now, the image was marred by a striking addition. Bold red letters were scrawled across the glass that read, "I know." Her eyes widened with fear as she turned to face me. "What is this?" she whispered, her voice trembling. I stood by the kitchen counter, arms crossed, my expression calm. But my words held the weight of everything I had learned and everything she had hidden. "Sarah," I said coldly, my voice edged with bitterness, "why don't you tell me?" Her lips parted, but no sound came out. I could see the panic in her eyes as she tried to assess just how much I knew, how much I had uncovered, and how I had pieced everything together. Finally, she stammered, "Jack, I don't know what you're talking about." The confidence that had always been part of her seemed to crumble before my eyes. I let out a bitter laugh, a laugh so foreign to me that it startled even me. "Please," I snapped, "spare me the insult to my intelligence. For months, you've been spinning lies, business trips, late nights at the office, and now this sudden obsession with the gym. Do you think I'm blind?" I pointed toward the photo on the table, but before she could respond, I reached for my phone. A string of images lit up the screen, each one a dagger to the story she had carefully constructed. Picture after picture showed her with her so-called business partner, Mark, holding hands at a seaside resort, sharing a kiss under a cabana, laughing over cocktails at a dimly lit bar. "I can explain, Jack," she blurted, her voice cracking with desperation. I could feel my temper flare. "Oh, can you?" I yelled. "Maybe you can explain how you've been sneaking around with Mark while I've been working overtime to fund your luxury yoga retreats and spa days?" My voice rose with each word until I was shouting, "You lied, Sarah, again and again." I paused, looking at her, searching her face. "Tell me, are you sorry because you got caught, or do you actually feel any remorse?" She took a hesitant step toward me, her hands outstretched, as if an embrace could somehow fix the wreckage she had caused. "Jack, please," she pleaded, her tone desperate. "It's not what it looks like. Let me explain." I raised my hand, stopping her in her tracks. "Don't," I said, my voice quieter now but no less cutting. "For the past 2 months, I've been gathering everything, every piece of evidence. Do you want to know why?" I watched her lips tremble, but she didn't reply. She couldn't. I needed to be absolutely sure, I continued, my tone icy. I didn't want to believe I was losing my grip on reality, but now that I have every piece of proof, I've made some decisions. Tears streamed down her face, but I felt no pity. Not after everything she had done. Calmly, I began, "I've already started the divorce process. My attorney has the papers ready. You'll get them tomorrow." Her face crumpled even further, despair deepening as she likely realized the implications of the ironclad prenuptial agreement she had signed. It was specifically designed to protect my family's company in the event of any upheaval. She would leave with only what she had contributed to our life together, which was minimal at best. "You don't have to do this, Jack," she whispered, her voice barely audible. I ignored her plea and pressed on. "Secondly, I've already spoken with Mark's wife." Her face twisted in shock. Her mouth open and closed as though she wanted to speak, but couldn't find the words. She was quite understanding, actually, I added with a bitter smile. She even provided me with some of her own photos. Did you really think no one would notice you sneaking around? Her sobs grew louder, but I wasn't done. Oh no, we're not done. I pulled a folder from a drawer and placed it firmly on the table. Here's everything. Texts, photos, receipts, all the evidence I've gathered. I slid it across to her. If you even think about challenging me on this divorce, I'll ensure it goes straight to your company's HR department. Let's see how they feel about two senior managers using company time and resources for an affair. She collapsed into a chair, burying her face in her hands. I made a mistake, Jack, she choked out between sobs. Please, I love you. I let out a hollow laugh. Love. I repeated, disbelief in my voice. You call this love? No. Sarah, you don't love me. You love the life I built for you. The security, the comfort. But respect? You had none. You destroyed everything we had for what? A fleeting thrill. Her sobs grew heavier, but I felt nothing. Not anger, not sadness, not even hate. Just a strange sense of relief, like a weight I hadn't known I was carrying had finally lifted. I grabbed my keys and moved toward the door. I'll be staying at a hotel for the next few days, I said. By the end of the week, movers will come to pack your things. You're leaving this house. Her tear-streaked face lifted to mine, a mask of despair. Please, Jack, she begged. We can fix this. Maybe we can try. I shook my head firmly. Some things, Sarah, can't be repaired. Rested my hand on the doorknob. I paused and added, Oh, and I canceled the credit card you used for that new purse you bought during your so-called business trip. Good luck explaining that. Without another word, I opened the door and walked out. Her cries trailed after me as I drove away, a whirlwind of emotions churning inside me, anger, betrayal, heartbreak. But beneath it all, there was something unexpected, freedom. After years of building a life with someone who didn't value me, I finally had the chance to start over. The next morning, a text from Mark's wife greeted me at the hotel. Thank you for telling me. I'm leaving him too. We deserve better. She was right. We did. As I looked out the window at the sunrise, I realized the end of my marriage wasn't the end of my life. It was a new beginning, a fresh chapter. For the first time in months, I felt a glimmer of hope.